What up, guys? Max here, back with another offseason breakdown and draft preview. This video is going to be about the Green Bay Packers. I'm doing the NFC North to start. I hate the Packers. I'm sorry. Vikings fan. I'm not a huge fan of them, but I'll still give you my 2 cents on them. So far this offseason, I think their big gains have been Martellus Bennett and Devon House. I know Jared Cook was starting to develop some chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, but I feel like Bennett is an upgrade over him. I've heard some people say that he's not, but I feel like he is. And Devon House just for some secondary help. But I feel like the Packers lost a lot of guys, and they lost T.J. Lang, Eddie Lacy, obviously, Julius Peppers, Micah Hyde, and Jared Cook. I think those are their key losses. So that's a lot of guys, a lot of key guys that have been on their team for a while. I mean, Lang has been a stalwart on that line for a while. Micah Hyde's been a pretty big part. So, I mean, I feel like the Packers lost a handful of guys and they didn't gain a ton. And that's kind of been their MO. I guess not really losing a ton of guys, but they're not super aggressive in free agency, and I feel like that's something that's might come back to bite them this year. Like if they went out and got like a Brandon Cooks or Alshon Jeffrey, a big weapon for Aaron Rodgers, I think that would have been huge. Or a big defensive player, like a corner, like what's that guy's name, AJ Bouye or whatever, the Texans corner. If they would have signed a guy like that, I think that would have been huge for them. But they just aren't really big spenders like that. So they're gonna have to look to the draft. I think their biggest need is running back. Like Ty Montgomery, that little experiment last year was fun to watch, but I don't think that's a long-term solution. So I think if a guy like a Dalvin Cook or a McCaffrey fell to you, they're in the first round, I think they would have to take him. I think both those guys would be great fits there in their offense, passing out of the backfield, and being a three-down back. I think both those guys could do it. I guess Dalvin Cook more than McCaffrey, but I think either one of them could. And then I think maybe in the draft later on go secondary. I feel like their secondary isn't very strong, especially with the loss of Hyde. I know they got Clinton Dix developing, but I think they could use some corner help. And then a pass rusher. They lost Peppers and they lost Dayton Jones to the Vikings. So I feel like they could use some pass rush help. And maybe look to add a weapon on the outside. Like I know Cobb and Jordy Nelson are obviously really good, but I mean you can never have too many weapons for Aaron Rodgers. But I think if they draft a tailback and focus mainly on defense, they'll be okay. Obviously draft the best player available, but I feel like the Packers, if you got Aaron Rodgers, you're always going to be in it. So if they had a better defense, especially defending the pass, then that'd be pretty key for them. So let's see what the Packers do. Hopefully they screw it up and draft a bunch of terrible players because I don't like them, but we'll see what happens. So in conclusion, I'll give the Packers a C- for their offseason grade so far. I like the addition of Martellus Bennett. I think he can be a pretty big weapon for Aaron Rodgers in the middle, but their lack of going out and getting like a big name like an Alshon Jeffrey or Brandon Cooks, or addressing pretty big needs that they have as far as running back or in the secondary or pass rusher type, I feel like kind of hurt them, and there were guys out there that they could have signed. So we'll see what they do in the draft, but so far I put them at a C-.